And welcome back to Sports Weekly on IEMG. Now here we are in the month of June. High school football teams are already back at it, getting ready for the 2022 campaign, which is right around the corner now. August 19th would be week 0, but a lot of teams holding workouts, doing practices. No helmets or pads yet. That'll come out, I believe, the last week of July, but we're getting very, very close. Let's take you out to San Gorgonio High School. There is head coach Rich McClure. I had the honor of checking out the Spartans, and I got to be honest, there's some real good energy, some good vibes, as you would say, with the Spartans this upcoming season. Hoping to have a bounce-back year. They were 3-6 this past season. Of course, the spring was rough for the Spartans as well, but they feel like they're going in the right direction. They've got a lot of returning players who got experience in that weird short spring season and, of course, last year. So head coach Rich McClure definitely sees some positive writing on the wall, you could say, for San Gorgonio. And there in the background, there he is right there, head coach Mike Aragon, formerly of Pacific High School, now an assistant for head coach Rich McClure and San G. So that'll be a great addition for the Spartans as well. So again, trying to have a bounce-back season. A lot of guys now have experience under their belt. The numbers are getting better at San Gorgonio, so they're feeling pretty good about going into this season in the San Andreas League. Before we hear from head coach Rich McClure, let's check in with some of the top players for the Spartans this upcoming season.
Getting better by just motivating each other along the way. Didn't really have enough motivation last year, as you can tell, but like we're just trying to help each other out as much as we can. This is a family, this is a brotherhood, and we try to just pick each other up.
I feel like we have a good team. We could do a lot. We just gotta get focus up and actually pay attention and really work together as a team.
It's a very important time because this is our time for us to make mistakes and just really focus up and just learn. That way, when it comes time to put the pads on or to go play, there's no mistakes. We can just play. So yeah, it's a very important time.
Definitely feeling confident, feeling positive as they go through the summer and getting ready for the 2022 season. All right, here is head coach Rich McClure. We talk all things about returning players, having a real rebound season for San G, and what he likes about this team so far as we're, less than 2 months now away from that first game of the year. Here's San G head coach Rich McClure. We're out here at San Gorgonio High School with Spartans head coach Rich McClure. And Coach, I honestly feel this way. When I came out to practice, I felt like there was a different kind of energy, this electricity, maybe some optimism with this year's squad going into the season. Am I wrong? Do you feel it too?
Well, we found a couple quarterbacks, so that made a big difference. We weren't really able to use the forward pass last year at all, so because of that, I think we're more back into our element, being able to use our athleticism on the perimeter, and so our kids really made a big commitment during the winter time. When we first came back from COVID, we could barely lift the bar. And since then, they've really made a strong commitment to the weight room, and we're now back to having good performances with good verticals and the things that you would hope an off season would provide you. And I think when you do those kind of things, when you can put 400 pounds on your back and squat down with it a few times, you gain a lot of confidence. And I think that's where we're at right now. We have with the start of confidence. We have a lot to learn, but it's getting a lot better.
I feel like it's kind of cliche, but a lot of coaches will say, well, champions are made like right now. It's in the off season, right, in the weight room and whatnot. Do you feel like what you guys are doing right now, you're confident, you're optimistic that this team might have a pretty good year?
Well, COVID took us back academically, and so we spent not only the time in the weight room, but spent a lot of time trying to get our grades back and the commitment to being in the classroom, being on time, doing all the little things with discipline and accountability. And so it's not just one or two things, it's trying to be a whole package within a program. And so, whether they're the star kids or kids that are just first coming out, everybody's treated on the same level, and they're doing a good job with that. And I think when you do that, then you have more of a team concept, and then everybody kind of buys in. They're able to grasp the work that has to be done to move a team forward.
Speaking of some of your star players and some of the new guys,
I noticed some familiar faces out here and some familiar names, but would you kind of characterize this team as being on the younger side, or maybe some guys who got experience last year in that shortened, spring COVID season that are now kind of those seasoned guys or veterans this year? I mean, how would you kind of describe this year's team based on underclassmen and maybe some juniors and seniors?
It's a lot like the 2017 group. Ron had left at Christmas time. They were trying to pick the coach, go through all those processes. Academics weren't so good. There wasn't a lot of accountability in that situation, so we weren't really able to get started until June. Put an offense in, do those kind of things. So, but from an age standpoint, that year, the previous year in 16, when they had won a championship, we had 38 seniors and another 17 were not eligible. So when you're talking about 50-some kids that had playing time, you're very young, and that's how we are right now. We're mostly sophomores and juniors. We have a sprinkling of seniors that have some experience, not a great deal, but some experience. And so, getting that to gel, but mostly just the coaches have to set the expectations right now, and our older kids are starting to learn how to be leaders and be in those roles in that situation. So it's a good combination right now. There's youth. With the youth, there's a lot of enthusiasm. That's our hope is that this youth, we're going to carry this for the next 2 or 3 years. And I think, most people will say that got hit really hard like our program did with COVID. Most people say it's going to take a couple years to rebuild the program. And, we're not just grabbing people off the street and doing those kind of things. We're trying to build within. And so, our freshmen and sophomores are really important to us, and they've done a really nice job of working hard. So.
But the numbers overall in the program are gradually getting better?
Yeah, I think last year, for the most part, we were in the 35-40 range, and we were trying to scrape up some kids to play Frosh Soph, and now we're squeezing into the 50-55 range, and I think that'll be even closer to 70 by the time we get into August.
All right, Coach, always appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, that's San Gorgonio head coach Rich McClure.
A big thanks to head coach Rich McClure, always so generous with his time. And we will have more high school football coverage next week on Sports Weekly. So that's a great reminder to hit subscribe to the IE Media Group YouTube channel so you do not miss a minute of the action. My name is Pep Fernandez, and we will see you next time on Sports Weekly on IEMG.